She planned to destroy me, but I beat her at her own game. It's funny how life can change in an instant. One moment, you're living in what seems like a picture-perfect world, and the next, the foundation you've built starts to crumble beneath your feet. That's what happened to me. For 8 years, I was married to Ellen, the woman I thought was my partner in everything. We had a comfortable life in a small New England town, complete with a cozy colonial house, 2 kids we adored, and a community we cherished. I was a steady provider, working as a project manager for a local construction firm, and Ellen worked as an office administrator. Together, we seemed like the kind of couple you'd see on holiday cards, smiling, happy, complete. But behind that image lay cracks I hadn't seen, or maybe I didn't want to see them. Looking back, the signs were there. Small at first, easy to dismiss. Ellen started staying late at work more often. "There's a new project I'm helping out with," she'd say, or "You know how my boss loves last-minute meetings." I believed her. Why wouldn't I? We had been through so much together. I remember how we scraped by during our first years of marriage, counting every penny and dreaming about the life we'd one day build. I remembered her excitement when we bought our house, the way she'd carefully chosen the color for every room. But things started to feel different. Subtly, at first, Ellen began paying more attention to her appearance. She wore perfume she hadn't touched in years. Her work outfits became more polished, pencil skirts, blouses that showed a little too much effort for an office job, heels that clicked with a confidence I didn't recognize. Then there was her phone. Ellen was never one to be glued to technology, but suddenly, her phone was always in her hand. She'd laugh at texts, smile at private jokes, and quickly put it away when I entered the room. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe she was just trying to bring back a spark to her work life. But deep down, my gut told me otherwise. The night that changed everything started out like any other. Ellen was tired from work and collapsed on the couch, scrolling through her phone. After a few minutes, she drifted off to sleep, her phone still in her hand. I don't know what came over me. I've always believed in trust and respect in a marriage, but something inside me whispered, "Look, you need to know." My hands shook as I picked up her phone. Her lock screen didn't stop me. Years of marriage meant I knew the code by heart. What I found sent a chill down my spine. The messages between Ellen and someone named Dan weren't just flirty. They were explicit. Words I didn't think she even knew. Phrases that made my stomach churn. And it wasn't just words. There were pictures, plans for future meetups, and even a code word, T, for their rendezvous. I sat there in the dark, my chest tightening with every message I read. Ellen, my wife, the woman I trusted with my heart and soul, was having an affair. Over the next few days, I felt like I was living in someone else's life. Ellen would come home, smile, kiss me on the cheek, and ask about my day, all while lying to my face. I decided not to confront her. Not yet. I needed to know how deep this betrayal went. I started paying closer attention to her excuses. When she said she was meeting friends for dinner, I checked her location using the family GPS app. She'd forgotten it was linked to my phone. Instead of being at the Italian restaurant downtown, she'd be at a quiet motel on the outskirts of town. I followed her one night, parking a safe distance away. I saw her meet Dan, a man I'd never seen before. They walked into the motel together, laughing, touching, completely oblivious to the world around them. It wasn't just the affair that broke me. It was the deception, the lies told with such ease. But the worst was yet to come. One day, while checking Ellen's email, I stumbled across a chain of messages between her and a divorce lawyer. My stomach dropped. She wasn't just cheating on me, she was planning to leave me. The emails outlined her plans to take the kids, claim full custody, and fight for the house. She had been quietly saving money, preparing for a life without me. The life we had built together, the memories, the sacrifices, they meant nothing to her. I knew I couldn't let her destroy me without consequences. I wasn't just fighting for myself. I was fighting for my kids, my dignity, and the life I deserved. The first step was to gather evidence. I documented everything. Her texts, her location history, her emails. I hired a private investigator to dig deeper. What he found shocked me even more. Ellen had been embezzling money from her job to fund her new life with Dan. Next, I reached out to Dan's wife, Claire. I sent her an anonymous email with screenshots of the texts and photos. At first, I hesitated. Was it my place to interfere in their marriage? But Claire deserved to know the truth, just as I had. Her response was immediate. She confronted Dan, and he admitted everything. Within days, Claire had filed for divorce. Meanwhile, I quietly moved money out of our joint accounts. Ellen had been saving for her divorce, but I drained those accounts before she could use them. Every cent went into a new account in my name. The moment I'd been dreading finally arrived. One evening, Ellen came home and announced that she wanted a divorce. She looked confident, even smug, as if she'd already won. I stayed calm. Okay, I said, but before we go any further, there's something you need to see. I handed her a folder filled with the evidence I'd collected. The texts, the GPS records, the private investigator's report, and proof of her embezzlement. Her face went pale as she flipped through the pages. You thought you could outsmart me? I said, my voice steady. You lied to me, stole from your employer, and planned to take everything from me. Well, it's over. I told her I had already informed her boss about the embezzlement. She was fired the next day. I also revealed that Dan's wife knew everything and had left him. You're not getting a dime, I said. And you're certainly not getting the kids. The divorce process wasn't easy, but I came out on top. The court granted me full custody of the kids, and Ellen was ordered to pay child support. Dan didn't fare much better. He lost his job, his marriage, and his reputation. Last I heard, he was living in a rundown apartment, a shadow of the man he once was. As for Ellen, she tried reaching out a few times, asking for forgiveness. But I had nothing left to say to her. Today, my life is far from perfect, but it's honest. My kids and I are thriving. I've reconnected with old friends, picked up hobbies I'd long neglected, and even started dating again. If there's one thing this ordeal taught me, it's that resilience is everything. Life will knock you down, but it's up to you to get back up. And I did.